this is Donita Sparks from L7. How's it going? And you're watching Pólvora. It was a very exciting time when we did Smell the Magic with Sub Pop. We had been around for about 5 years in LA, and we had put out one album already, but it didn't do very well. And so when the whole Sub Pop thing was happening in Seattle, we went up there and met some friends, and then met the Sub Pop guys, and it all kind of went from there. But we were sort of punk rockers doing hard rock in LA, and a lot of that was going on up north as well. Although I think we were a bit more from the art punk scene than your regular punk scene, like I think was going on up in Seattle. I really love Death Wish. It's a song I wrote, of course, but I really like it because I'm very proud of the lead guitar I did on that song. And our producer, Jack and Dino, just let the tape roll. And I was like, Jack, I don't know what I'm going to play here. I'm not really a lead guitar player. He said, just play anything, you know? And so I actually played something that I am quite proud of. And it's one of my favorite leads I've ever played. So I love that one. And I love a song that Susie wrote called Broomstick a lot as well. We're very excited about Smell the Magic coming out again. We can't believe it's 30 years. It's insane. It makes us feel really old, but we still really have a lot of fun playing those songs. I think Fast and Frightening means a lot to a lot of people, especially young women really love that song. And I think Shove is very universal. So I still think it has relevance, if I can say that. We had all of the home movie footage, and I had been transferring L7 archives for many years from VHS to digital. And so I knew what we had, and we certainly know our story. And so even though we had a director, I kind of had final cut, and the band had final cut because that was our material. I didn't feel comfortable just handing it over to someone and saying, make our story. You know, like, you don't know our story, we know our story. So that's what was cool about it. And I also didn't want a lot of talking heads in the film. A lot of bio, like you say, a lot of biographies you see have a lot of people talking and talking. We have people in there a little bit, but it's just they're saying one or two lines, and it's people we really admire who are speaking about us. When we got dropped from the major label, we were of course insulted because we were like, what the hell? We just made a good album. We just made an album called The Beauty Process, and we were really proud of that album. And, you know, everybody was getting dropped at that time, but there were a lot of bands that were signed to major labels at that time that maybe didn't have the, I hate to use the word, but the authenticity that we had, because like we started from the underground and we didn't even get signed until we had lines around the block to come see us live. So we felt, anyway, our egos felt that we had more legitimacy maybe than some of these other bands that were still on the major label. But whatever, it happened, and it's just a weird thing, but we did make an album after that because we were determined not to let them fuck us over in that way. You know, not to end the band when they said the band was over, but to end the band when we said the band was over. If things were good for you on a good label or a major label or whatever, you know, they paid for everything. Even though you went into debt, you know, you didn't have to front the costs for a lot of things. when we made our last album, not this one a couple of years ago, but the one we made in 1999, we had to pay for everything, up front. And so, yeah, you started to realize like, oh, that's what record companies do. But yeah, I mean, I think when it's working and they don't screw you over and they let you have artistic control, I don't really see anything all that terrible about being on a major label.
Mm-hmm.
We had complete artistic control. So, it's a really great past. A lot of really great memories. I notice now that when we do play a festival, that all of the artists are kept very separate from each other. It's very strange. It's like the different stages are, a mile apart or whatever. And there's not as much hanging out backstage with the artists as there was years ago. Like, I don't know, on Reading or Lollapalooza, you just got to know everybody who was on those festivals. And now it's very much, it's difficult to go from place to place. So I would say that that's kind of a drag, and they had to get more security, I'm sure. I don't quite know the reasons, but I just don't feel that. But I'm older too. Maybe the younger bands, maybe they arrange things with their iPhones to hook up or whatever. So I have a lot of idols, I suppose. I love Polystyrene from X-Ray Specs. I love the B-52s. I love the Ramones. I love, Sex Pistols. I would wear the Glenn Danzig makeup and sing for the Misfits if I could tour around Mexico playing clubs. And I'm throwing that out there to the Misfits right now. If you're listening, I can put on the makeup too.
Yeah.
I want to be like Mick Jagger. That's who I wanted to be like. I loved Bowie too, but I really thought I could do Mick.
And have you ever met him?
I have. He was very nice. And he was also kind of a smart ass. So he had a good sense of humor, and he also was very, he spoke with us and he hung out with us a little bit, and he was very cool. And so it's Keith Richards, but Mick Jagger was a little more friendly. We were like stalkers. They were in Studio One and we were in Studio Two, but we kept hanging out on the couch in front of Studio One. Like we were just casual, but we were really just stalking them, waiting for them to come out. And so we did that for a few days and got to talk to them.
Hello, Daddy. Hello, Mom. I'm your Cherry Bomb. Hello, world. I'm your wild girl. Cherry Bomb.
We first met Joan Jett, I think in 1992, when one of our concerts that we organized, Rock for Choice, it was a benefit organization for women's reproductive freedom, and we were playing a benefit, and Joan Jett said she could do it, but she could not fly the Blackhearts out from New York to LA. So we were the Blackhearts for that night. So we played Bad Reputation and Cherry Bomb, and I can't remember what else, but that's how we met Joan. And then we became friends with her, and then we sort of lost contact with her. But then a few years ago, we kind of got together again, and we decided to go with Blackheart to put out our stuff. I thought it was amazingly entertaining. I laughed a lot. I thought it was outrageous and very punk rock because it was not rehearsed, and it was just mind-blowing what was going on. And you couldn't hear the audience that well. The audience was like yelling and screaming, and because it was mostly punk musicians in the audience too. So there was just, I had a great time. I was laughing the whole time. I didn't talk to anybody before or after. I was out of there. I had a birthday party to go to, so I couldn't hang out. And yeah, I gave Marky a hug and I gave Johnny a hug. So there you go. But they were very vicious with each other, and I would say that Johnny was more vicious towards Marky, kind of out of the blue. It seemed it was very strange. It was in that way. It was sad. It was like, wow, my two favorite punk bands of all time are like hating on each other. So it was tough in that way. But John Lydon's hilarious. So is Marky Ramone. So it was just a fun night.
Hey, you're Cereal Mom.
Yes, I guess I am.
Come on in, lady, quick.
We were told he wrote the part for us. He contacted our management, and our manager took us out to lunch and said, we got this script from John Waters. He wants to put you in his film. And we thought it was a joke because we were such big John Waters fans. We were like, what? That's insane. He never works with rock and roll bands. And it was true. So we went to Baltimore and we shot the film. We just met his entire crew that had been with him forever, like his makeup person, his costume person, the genitals of our pants are very famous. Our band name was Camel Lips. It probably should have been Camel Toe. I don't know if you understand these terms, but yeah. So our crotch area was very exaggerated. So I love that.
Buckle up, Scotty.
This is something wrong. I wear my seatbelt.
I think that L7 has our own delicious recipe that nobody else has. So, there are other bands, they have cool stuff, but our exact recipe only we have. So that's why.